It has been a long time since I have done one of these, but let's go over the summoning pool and see if it is really worth your money and really worth going for. Now, obviously, this is a game. I do not think buying pixels will ever technically be worth it, but if you are a spender in this game or you're willing to spend, you're going to want to know what is worth it when it comes to this game. So that's kind of what I'm trying to focus on. Just have to get that out of the way. Just don't go above your means. Either way, going into this, I will most likely be pulling for this, which is not a good idea, but either way, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get into this. So first of all, Prism pools are some of the best bang for your buck in this game. You can get about 5 and a bit pulls for $50. It's about a shard every $10. And they're at both sacred rates, non-2x sacred rates, and they are also only going to give you heroes in the pool, which is a big deal because the pool for all of the champions in this game on sacreds is so large. I mean, in just a single faction, there is 8, 16, 23 legendaries in one faction, and there's so many factions. There are hundreds of legendaries in this game. It is very hard to get most of them, so you want to try to do a pool that is really good. So let's go into a couple things. Are these heroes good and should you pull for them? So first of all, the people that I don't think are really that worth it, but still wouldn't be a bad pull. If you want to get one of the best starts in Raid Shadow Legends, use the link in my description below to get a free legendary champion, Narma the Returned, as well as 3 amazing epic champions as you level up. Now, the way that you're going to do this is you're going to log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Then you're going to click the link in the description, register with a brand new email. Then you're going to launch Raid, complete the tutorial, and as you go to your inbox, you are going to be able to claim your first legendary champion. Next, you're going to get Anax, Uugo, and Mausoleum Mage as you level up. Please don't let this insane offer pass you by and click on my link now to get the start that you deserve. Tholen Foulbeard. I have Tholen. He would probably be the worst one for me, and he was just a fusion. I think Tholen is not really too desirable, even though he's really good. He's good in a lot of areas, specifically early game, but also he's good in areas like Hydra, faction trials. He's very solid. He's decent. He's quite good. But if you're a later player and you already have him, this is probably the worst pull for you. Aside from that, there are also some other heroes I wouldn't usually recommend. Dune Herald Zaharis is probably one of the worst pulls, even though he's still quite good. That's saying a lot considering this pool. A1, chance of applying a debuff spread and stealing target's turn meter. We have block buffs, block active skills right there as well, and has a chance of stealing all buffs from the target enemy and applies a buff spread. So he steals them, spreads them to his allies, and then puts debuffs out, which is pretty cool, but it's not AoE debuff spread. Then he has an intercept stack, which essentially makes it so that your allies can't get debuffed one time, and places block debuffs and attack speed on all allies. This is a really good, really good ability. Then we get the passive, which is at the start of the round, place increased accuracy, and then he has speed in all battles, which is very good. He's a great unit, but he's still on the lower end for this. Stultus. Amazing, really good for soloing dragon, especially hard dragon. He's still on the lower end for this pool, in my opinion. If the target's under any debuff, each hit decreases turn meter. He has a stun there. He has decreased crit damage, decreased speed, hits decent. And then the main thing is the passive. Whenever an enemy attempts to place weaken, decrease defense, or poison reflects it, he just straight up reflects all of the dragon's poisons that he would otherwise get. And then the dragon just straight up melts immediately. It's very funny. Now, there are some other good ones that I wouldn't say are as good as the top tiers. We got Freya, who's quite good as well. AoE Provoke is cool. It's not the most likely, but it's still pretty cool. Increased defense on all allies. Shield. The value of the shield is proportional to the defense and each target's max HP, which is pretty good on a 3-turn cooldown. 3-turn cooldown on the A3, removes all debuffs, full cleanse, block debuffs on them, and a turn meter fill. That's a very good ability. And then the passives are quite good as well. Increase the champion's defense every time an ally inflicts a critical hit. This is so easy to stack up, it's kind of crazy. And then the active effect prevents the death of the ally with the highest crit damage, except this champion. Keeps them alive with 1 HP when hit with a fatal hit. There are multiple champions it'll only affect once, then instantly heals them by 20% and gives them an extra turn. Really cool ability there too. Then we got Glycad of the Meltwater, freeze on the A1, increase attack, perfect veil on all allies except this champion for the perfect veil. Then a turn meter fill, revive, really good revive there with increased accuracy, increased defense, and allies under perfect veil placed by this champion do more damage. He's really good too. These are all very good units. We got Kurugar Death Bell, heals this champion by their max HP, attacks all enemies, chance of filling the turn meter of all allies by 30%. It's 100% when he's booked, so basically 30% turn meter fill, and will completely strip all debuffs from all allies. Really good ability. Ally protection on all allies and strengthen, really good there too. Increases this champion's resistance and defense by 10% for each ally protection, then also puts it on allies as well, just a little bit less. If there are multiple champions, only one will take effect. And he counters attacks when an ally under an ally protection buff is attacked. That is really good. Kurugar is quite good as well. Now, Eostard's also good. Pass fusion, sleep on the A1, decrease speed and weaken on the A2, and decreases the turn meters. And then the A3 is filled turn meter, extra turn, making this a 3-turn cooldown, increase speed, increase attack on all allies. Eostard's very good, and whenever this champion or an ally has their turn meter increased, heals all allies. The percentage is equal to half of the turn meter increase. So it's about a 7.5% when she does it, but it also works when you get turn meter increases from other allies. She also has 28% ally speed in battles, arena battles specifically, really good hero there. But now we get to the main big ones. Going into Mighty Uugo, very good. 20% speed aura in all battles. A1 decrease attack, really good chance, 75%. It's kind of a crazy A1, I'll be honest. A2 block buffs and decrease accuracy, and removes 2 random buffs from the target, which is big. Now it is a conditional block buffs and decrease accuracy, which does kind of suck. Still really good. Then he has one of the better revives in the game. 40% HP when they're revived, but then it also places a block damage buff on them. But that's not just it. He also places 30% increased speed on all allies, and also places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies, and will also place it even if there are no dead allies. So this could just be an increased speed ability if you really want. Now his passive has a 50% chance of stealing 1 random buff from a random enemy each time a buff is placed on the enemy team. Will only attempt to steal 1 buff for each type of buff placed simultaneously. For example, I've never seen a champion description with a "for example." That's so strange to me, but we run with it. For example, only 1 random buff may be stolen if 3 shield buffs are placed at the same time. Any stolen buffs become protected. Very strange and interesting. But once again, there's some better people in here. Wixwell, debatably the best clan boss champion in the game. He's probably the one I would go for. Especially, and I mean this, especially if you are going for the fusion. I'm going for the fusion. Titus. He scales off of shield. Just remember that the new fusion scales off of the amount of shield you have. Vault Keeper Wixwell. Provoke on the A1. If it's a boss, it's 100%. This is really good for Hydra. A2 attack all enemies. Has 100% chance of placing decrease attack. Also increases the duration of all ally buffs. Really good if you have shields. You see a trend there? Really good if you have shield. And then we get to the second part, which then increases the value of all shields on all allies. The value of each shield is increased proportional to the total number of buffs which had their duration increased. He just builds it so much. Then we get to the A3. 3-turn cooldown, places 2 intercept stacks on a target ally. Also increased defense buff and increased shield on all allies. The value of the shield is proportional to the champion's defense. So he goes in there, places the shield himself, then increases the duration, increases the value, decrease attack on the boss, and he can provoke in Hydra. This guy is ridiculous. He is my most wanted clan boss champion for a reason. And then as well, at the start of the round, places a counterattack buff on this champion for 1 turn, cannot be removed. at the end of this champion's turn, plays a counterattack buff on them for 1 turn. So he will always counterattack, which always puts provoke, which always puts a buff on him that he can extend, which then increases the shield growth. It's insane. Vault Keeper is insane, and he's really good. Next, we get to one of my other most wanted champions in the game. Now, Harima is not as good as she was when she came out, but she's still absurdly powerful. A1 decreased attack, really, really good. Then we get to the A2, attack an enemy 3 times. Each hit decreases their defense by 5% up to 30%. Each hit also increases the champion's defense up to 100% if this kills an enemy uses the A3, which I'll get to in a second. First of all, she's a defense-based champion, so she's boosting her damage, lowering the amount of reduction the enemies have or the opponents have, and the A3 is attacks all enemies, places a provoke for 1 turn, guaranteed. This debuff cannot be blocked or resisted if this target champion is from the Demon Spawn faction, one of the most common factions in this game. Then we get to the passive. Enemy ignore defense effects are decreased by 50%. Which makes it so that she can't become weaker very easily. Ignore defense effects are very, very powerful. And while this doesn't really help versus decreased defense and stuff, this is very good for a lot of champions that just simply go through defense. And because she's defense based, that's a lot of her damage mitigation. Now, she cannot be crit by Demon Spawn, which is great, and she cannot land weak hits on Demon Spawn. She's very good. Her multipliers are insane. She does a lot of damage, very tanky, very good. Nishak, insane for Arena. If you don't like Arena, maybe you won't like Nishak, but he has bombs on the A1. He has decreased attack on the A2 and detonates the bombs faster by decreasing the duration, and he also increases the duration of poisons at the same time. By the way, the A1 bombs placed on enemies whose max HP is equal to or higher than 200k, so mostly bosses, are going to get hit with double damage, which is insane. And then the A3 attacks all enemies, has a 100% chance of placing 2 bombs, grants an extra turn, and the bomb debuffs once again deals double damage at a certain point. This combos into the A2. He goes in with the A3, puts bombs for 2 turns, then decreases the bomb's duration, and then the opponents go and they die. That's what happens, simply. And then also, every time a bomb debuff placed by this champion detonates or is removed, places poison. These debuffs cannot be cleansed, is what protected means. Really, really good there. And then we get to Pythion. Pythion's also a very good support. A1 is a heal. A2, remove all debuffs, heals them, heals by an extra amount of their max HP for each debuff removed, block debuffs on all allies, 3-turn cooldown, really good heal. A3, revive all dead allies, turn meter, and HP, and strengthen on a 4-turn cooldown, one of the better revives in the game. And then the passive is insane. Allies receive 5% less damage from skills for each buff on them, stacking up to 25%. You're gonna want buffs on all the time, and he's actually putting on some buffs. So your allies are just simply taking much less damage. Very, very good. Now, aside from that, we obviously don't fully care about the legendaries because the epics are also very good. Specifically, Geomancer, debatably the best epic in the game. I don't think he is, but he's up there. Very, very close. Does insane damage, reflects damage when hit, puts HP burns, depletes turn meter fully. He's insane. Husk, very good for Hydra. Doom Priest, very good for cleansing potential. We also have a Lady Mikage fusion component right there. We have Rector Drath, a very, very good epic reviver. One of the better epic revivers in the game. Really solid heals and just simply support potential. Tanesha, solid damage dealer. I'm sure there's some other ones, so if there's anyone I'm missing, I've heard Neldor is decent. If there's any epics I'm missing, please drop them in the comments. I appreciate all the help I can get. I don't know everything. Basically, this is a very good champion pool. One of the best out there. If you're going to buy prisms, this is the banner to do it. So with that out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, help the channel out a lot. We're close to 1,000 subs, would mean the world to me. And with that out of the way, Destin signing out.